Hi everybody, this is Jen from Cookies, Cupcakes, and Cardio.com. I have in front of me a Babycakes Cake Pop Maker, and what I'm going to do today is review how you use it and what you can make when you're using it. And the reason I have it is because I was downtown at our local department store, which we also call Canadian Tire. Yes, it sells tires and cake pop machines. Can you imagine? Canada's a great place. And it was about 40% off, and so I got that and the cupcake maker that I reviewed in a previous video. And so I wanted to show you something that's a neat little, kind of like a tool that you can use if you're doing simple baking. So I'm gonna get started, talk you through this, and let you know what it can do. So what you'll find coming with your cake pop machine are two different sizes of cake pop sticks, a fork tool, the manual, and a drying rack. In the manual you will find smaller recipes for less batter, which comes in handy since making the cake pops, they tend to be on the small side. But I've gone ahead and whipped up my favorite batch of chocolate cake, which you can find on our channel if you'd like to try. And what I'm going to do now is preheat the machine. So inside we've got the domes with the cake pops we'll bake into, but what you want to do is plug it in, and when the two lights come on, that's when it's going to be ready to put the batter in. So when that happens, I'll be back to show you that process. So before you get too far into the preheating process and the maker gets too hot, you just want to make sure you rub the insides of the domes with some non-stick cooking spray. This will just help with the balls coming out a little bit easier. The first couple times should work fine with the Teflon, but needs a little help the rest of the time through. So once it's preheated fully, you can put in your batter. Now in the cake pop maker, what you're going to do is fill up one of the domes completely to the top and level. So it's about 1 1/4 of my spoons here, which is a tablespoon amount. So it's just about a tablespoon. So what I've been experimenting with before was what happens if I didn't put enough? What happens if I put too much? If you don't put enough, they don't become perfect round balls, and if you put too much, it spills out the side. But you still end up with a pretty decent product. So I'm just going to fill these and close the lid for the baking time, which we're going to bake for about 5 minutes. So the cake pops have finished cooking, and I'm just going to use the fork tool to just kind of poke them in the side and work them free. They should come out relatively easy with the non-stick spray, but you still probably have to be quite gentle. So I'm just going to pull all these out and let them cool on this cooling rack, and then I'll be back to show you what you're going to need in order to decorate your cake pops. While the cake pops are cooling, I'm going to gather the ingredients that I need for the next step of the process. So I'm going to need my cake pop sticks, some sprinkles for decorating, you can use whatever you would like to, and some melting wafers. These happen to be white chocolate melting wafers. You can use candy melts, you can use chocolate chips, you can use baking chocolate. That's totally up to you. What the cake pop is going to do is be dipped in the melted chocolate. So what I have to do first while they're cooling is melt the chocolate. Melting the chocolate is going to happen 1 minute intervals at 50% power in the microwave. When they're cool and the chocolate is melted, I'll be back to show you the next step. So once your cake pops are cooled and your chocolate is liquid, what you're going to do is take your cake pop stick and you're going to dip it into the chocolate. Pull it straight out just so you've got the end coated nicely. And then this is going to act as the cement into the cake pop. So you're going to stick it in there and just about 1/4 of the way into the pop and then just leave it there. So I'm going to do all of these and then pop them into the freezer. And they're going to freeze for about, I'd say, 5 to 10 minutes. And then we will do the final decorating process. Okay, so the cake pops have been in the freezer for about 5 to 10 minutes, and what you want to make sure is that the anchor here, the stick, is solidly stuck to the cake pop. So what I'm going to do now is into my melted chocolate, I'm going to just straight in put my cake pop, and I'm just going to make sure that the chocolate is meeting up with that anchor, and slowly bring it out. And I'm going to make sure the excess chocolate comes off of the cake pop. So I'm just going to let it rotate here and drip until I have enough chocolate off that it doesn't make a big mess when I put it into the stand. So I think it's dropped most of the excess chocolate off. And what I'm going to do now is dip it into my sprinkles. You can put it into any topping that you would like to. And I'm just going to put it in at an angle and just slowly work around, getting the sides and the top coated. And then I'm going to turn it around to dry completely in the cake pop stand. So I'm going to finish off the rest of these, and then I'll be back to finish off the video. So we've finished decorating all of our cake pops, and I really like the way that the Cake Pop Maker enables you to have a perfectly round ball without having to roll all those individual balls when you're making cake pops. We do have another video that can show you how to make cake pops without having to use the cake pop machine, but it's a nice handy thing to use to have in your kitchen, especially if you have young bakers in your house. Just be careful that when you're lifting the lid up that you use it with a mitt, especially if you're around little kids, because we know lots of our younger viewers like to try fun things out like this. So I hope you enjoyed this video on Babycakes Cake Pops. Let me know if you've ever tried the machine. I'm curious to know if you've had the same results. If you liked the video, please share it with all of your friends, and you can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Google+. See you next time.